Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. We're moving on to our next recap of the Ultimatum Season 1, Episode 5 and 6. And guys, I don't know about you, we are halfway through this whole experiment, and it's been a good one. I don't know about you, but I've definitely been really enjoying it. So, before we jump into this and unpack these two episodes, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button and drop a comment down in the comment section below. So, without any other further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this drama. So, the first episode is episode 5 we're talking about in this video, which is entitled Pushing Boundaries. So this is where we saw the trial couples, and yeah, they got a little tipsy that night. And it kind of picks up when everyone gets home from the girls and guys night out. Everybody is trying to get the tea on their partners, especially with the events that happened that night and even a little bit of chaos that we talked about in the previous recap. And then part of this whole thing was now Madeline got mad at Randall for wanting to talk about Colby, even though he was doing the right thing telling her the kiss story. I mean, she got really pissed off about that, and I didn't understand that, and I would think that was part of what they were supposed to be doing, but she shut him down real quick and got in her feelings real quick about, him kind of bringing back details from what they talked about in regards to Cody. Then that whole thing, remember when we were talking about in the recap of episode 4 and 5, where Kobe kind of wanted to redirect the reason for, I guess, kissing some girl off onto Zay, and Zay was like, "No, not me. Don't put my name in it. My name is Bennett, and I ain't in that mess." So yeah, so he was definitely trying to give her a little bit of update of what was going on, but she didn't want to hear it. So, I mean, I would think that, she should have wanted to know, but she didn't. And we saw what happened with that whole thing. Then there was another fight that ensued. And this fight here, which was Shanique and Zay. Now they got over a huge fight over Shanique facial expressions, and I guess it was because whatever he said, she made a face and he felt like he was being judged. Now I will give it to him because he asked what was the facial expressions about, and she got pissed off saying, "What? I can't look in a certain way, or I can't do my face how I want to." And I'm like, all he wanted to know was that nonverbal communication that you were giving. Give me a little bit of clarity on that. That's all he was asking for. And she went way left. I mean, yeah, she was processing the information, but at the same time, and listen, guys, you can't tell me that if you're having a conversation with somebody, they're not verbally communicating it to you, but they're making a facial expression, which is technically nonverbal communication. You're going to want to know a little bit of clarity of what's that about. Whether she could have easily came back and said, you know what, I'm just thinking about that a little bit. But no, she got mad and was like, what? I can't frown, or I can't have an expression on my face. And I'm like, I think he was just asking for a little bit of clarity, Shanique. So I don't know if you had to go way left over the top. And you guys let me know. Let me know you think if she was justified in what she said, and Zay was overreacting. I didn't myself get it, but yeah, I just thought he was looking for some clarity. Well, following that fight with Zay, and everything she learned from Madeline, Shanique also was also wanting to ask Randall to meet up. But in the process, when she learned that Randall was enjoying his time with Madeline, Shanique was really upset. And she was definitely clearly angry at Randall, and that he actually took a hard look at this. And I'm sorry about this clip. I should have showed you the other one. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, here we go. My apologies. But yeah, I mean, they reunited. She learned everything from Madeline. Shanique asked Randall, about all of this. And when she learned Randall was just enjoying his time with Madeline, yeah, she got upset. She was clearly angry that Randall kind of took an honest part in the experiment. And I mean, she actually said that she admitted she wanted Randall to just sit in a corner and miss her while apart rather than follow the rules of the show. And when Randall tried to tell her how unfair it was that she wanted him to be miserable, she ignored everything he said and walked away. And, of course, highlighting one of the issues that they, struggle before the show. And it's like, okay, you know what you signed up for. I said the same thing on Temptation Island. Do not, if you don't want to see your partner go through the experiment or experiences with other people outside of you, don't go on this show. Don't go on Temptation Island. Don't go on the Ultimatum. You're going to see the other person choose to indulge in the experiment. I mean, I don't get it. But hey, people have feelings. People don't realize that once they're in this thing, I mean, I guess they know what they signed up for, but their emotions tell them otherwise. And she, trying to highlight, well, this is the issues that we have now. No, he's actually using, um, he's actually going through the process on the show the way it's supposed to, just like you were. Because here's the other thing, while she's mad at him, there are some other interesting things that actually happened, as we continue to watch. Because I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but there was a little bit of undercover bedroom 2 a.m. action between her and Zay. So I don't understand why she get to have a little fun in the corner while he sit in the corner in timeout pining over her. Yeah, I think you got it twisted, Shanique. So that was pretty much episode number 5. With pushing the boundaries. Madeline was in her feelings. Um, this whole craziness with the communication of Shanique's face with Zay, and all he asked was, "Well, what's that face for?" There's no reason I would have got offended over that. Somebody said, "Why are you making that face?" I'd be like, "Well, either I'm thinking about it, or something don't make sense, or help me understand." That's what I would say instead of say, "Oh, I can't change my facial expression." I just that whole thing was crazy. And then the whole thing again with Shanique and Randall. Some of these folks, I'm like, why did you even sign up for the show, right? Okay, so let's move on to episode number 6. Episode number 6 is entitled The Changeover. So we got a couple of more fights that's about to happen. And one of those fights is the one between Jake and April. So, this is where the episode where all of the original couples reunited. And like I said, it wasn't going to be long before we had a little bit more fights with the people that they came in the door with. So, the thing is, Jake and April fight later in this whole thing, which was pretty interesting, over Jake's phone because April went through his phone behind his back. And as they say, you go looking for something, you will absolutely find it. And airdropped herself videos that Jake took of Ray dancing in the club. And I think, is what she said, he had his camera up to her butt while she was twerking in front of him. She accused him of cheating which pretty much was the premise of the show because you signed up for your man to make another connection outside of you, but you accuse him of cheating, and he connected with the person who was also part of the experiment, who he swapped with. Yeah. Again, Temptation Island, the ultimatum. If you don't want to see your significant other test the waters with somebody else, don't do it. But anywho, so then there was this brunch that was going on with Ray's mom and best friend, and Zay and Ray got into a fight about their issues. Ray's mom had to mediate the whole thing, and neither of them were being quite, they was just throwing jabs at each other pretty much. He would say something, she would say something smarter. He would say something smarter, then she would get even smarter than that. And it was just tit for tat. They just throwing arrows and darts at each other. Neither one of them were being quite fair to the other. I mean, yeah. And then, we want to talk about this whole thing with Kobe. So let's talk about this with Kobe because it's mixed reactions, and I'm in a few of the Facebook groups that is on this whole particular show. Now, there was some people who think that, Kobe don't take responsibility for his actions, and, he blame everybody else instead of, taking that accountability and denying facts and events and things like that. He pleads his innocence, and he tends to what most people would think kind of switch or change the subject, or mid conversation to they say he deflects and blame, and people call him a gaslighter. However, there was a poll that was put out that said who's the worst between the two, and actually Madeline went way up in the scale on who's the worst between the two of them. So apparently, there's this whole thing that while Madeline was discovering her whole thing with Randall, Colby had been in contact with a girl he met at the club the entire time while living with April. There was all these texts between them. There was numbers of phone calls, FaceTime calls, text conversations with this woman, sharing details of the show with her and saying that he and Madeline were in an open relationship. And you guys gotta remember, he was the one that issued the ultimatum, right? Now, Colby didn't disclose any of this information to Madeline when Madeline asked about the kiss at the club, because remember, we got that too. His defense the next day was that he was doing what the show required, only with a random person since he wasn't, connecting with April. Now, this can be looked at two ways, and I've also seen the other parts of the conversation because, like I said, you got some folks thinking he's a gaslighter, and some folks thinking this scenario. So he actually knew that April and he did not have a connection. And they pretty much said that in previous episodes where, you know what, we're just going to hang out and have fun. And, we didn't connect with any of the other couples. So we'll just do us. And technically, like, the Lacheys said, they are officially broken up. And once they were officially broken up, they got to mingle with the other people. Okay. He took it to a next level. Now, unless there's a breach of contract where it says you can only participate in this experiment with other people within the same experiment, then yeah, he screwed up. He shouldn't have stepped outside of that. But if there is no clause, could it possibly be that even though he didn't explore a connection with April, which clearly there was none, would it be a case where he said, okay, well, she's over there kissy kissy hugged up with Randall because they were talking sex at the beginning of their whole experience together. They was talking about who turns who on. They was definitely talking in the intimate sheets. They had a sexual chemistry. So what is supposed to happen when Madeline is all booed up with Randall and they share kisses and things and feelings and emotions and stuff, and being that he didn't have another connection within the experiment, were they supposed to just sit on the sideline? Now, April, I don't know. I guess it'll come out later if she did anything outside of the experiment, but Colby did. And he said, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm officially single. If I can't pick anybody here, can I explore somebody outside? And that's what he did. So, I mean, it's up for interpretation. I think where it would come down to is if the show said, hey, you cannot meet anybody off camera that's not part of the cast that we selected. And if there is a clause, then yeah, he screwed that up. But then there's this whole conversation where he told Madeline that she forced him into acting that way, said he had to do it to make it real for her. And I guess, I don't know. Would this be a threat to Madeline's connection with Randall, or resented that he actually signed up for the show? I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, because at first, one thing about me, I like to cut it down the middle. I like to see the big picture. I don't just react to, oh, wow, what did he do? I wanted to actually look at this from a full perspective. And like I said, the only reason that I think that this would be a no go is if his contract say you cannot outside of the experiment with other people. But this whole thing, about you made me do this and all that. Well, you the one issued the ultimatum. You signed them up for both of them to come to the show. And the thing about Madeline, how many times even before coming on the show, she wasn't open to marrying you or whatever. It was either that or she didn't want to have kids. That should tell you something right there, Mr. Colby. I mean, the thing is, Madeline feel betrayed, and she feels bad about herself. I mean, it's just crazy. And their fight ended up or resulted to one of the most, I guess, in craziest exchanges for this particular series. Um, where Colby tells her, you deserve a lot more than me. I'm not worth it. To which Madeline said, okay, you're not worth it. But it's still my fault that everything happens. And Colby was like, yes. Some people think he had a lot of nerve for saying that, and then some people was like, he signed up for it. He was single. She found somebody in the experiment. He didn't. He want to utilize his freedom to meet and talk to other people, to test himself out, to see if he wanted to be with Madeline. So it's all left up to interpretation, but it's like I said, you don't want to see your significant other with somebody else, don't sign up for a show like this. Temptation Island is, if you're watching it right now, those folks are going through the same thing. And not only are they going through it with their original partners, you got the singles that's connected with some of these folks actually feeling bad and jealous over someone who technically still have an original boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't know. It's interesting drama to watch, but if it was me, there's no way I would do it. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop your comments. Let me know what you think about everything we discussed today. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you soon. Bye.